craziness going on. The Rumble, starting up the music. Hello and welcome to This Date in History, aka TDH. This show's about what happened today throughout the annals of recorded history, starting with October 21st. We have 310. Saint Eusebius ended his reign as Catholic Pope. Alright, so it appears it's going to be a Pope Day today. We also have 335. Roman Emperor Constantine the Great ruled that Jews are not allowed to purchase and circumcise Christian slaves. Well, you know, there's a story behind every law, and obviously the Jews were purchasing and circumcising Christian slaves, otherwise why would there be a prohibition to it? You know, like destroying, you know, the lesser religion, you know, in their eyes. So, yeah. I mean, you know, like, anyway, 1096, we have Sultan Kilij Arslan of Nicaea, leading a Seljuk Turkish army, defeated the People's Crusade at the Battle of Kevtot. Only about 3,000 out of 20,000 Crusaders survived, so 17,000 killed. Yikes. 1097 here, just 1 year later. Actually, yeah, we have during the First Crusade, Crusaders led by Godfrey of Bouillon, Bohemond of Taranto, and Raymond IV, Count of Toulouse. I'm not sure if they're affiliated with the Toulouse House cookies or any of that. Began the siege of Antioch. So, yeah. 512, Martin Luther joined the theological facility of the University of Wittenberg. Yeah, and you know, we all know about Martin Luther, the Reformation. Not Martin Luther King Jr., but this is a different Martin Luther. I do not believe he was a king, but he was a theologian and a founder of Protestantism. You know, so as I was saying, like, you know, the Reformation and all that stuff. 1520 here, explorer Ferdinand Magellan and his fleet reached Cape Virgines after transiting the Magellan Strait between the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans, becoming the first Europeans to sail in the Pacific. Alright. 1520. So they didn't get into the Pacific before that from the other side? You know. Before we move on up here to another 1520, we are getting joined by
a golden loon.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
How you doing today?
All right.
Yeah. Trying to make some room for you here.
I got plenty.
So, yeah, you don't want that to fall into the trash, though.
No.
Why do you bring that all up here?
Because I'm expecting a phone call.
Okay. Hey, King, there you are.
Hey.
How you doing, man?
Oh, good, good.
Good. We have another 1520 here. Joao Alvarez Fagundes discovered the islands of St. Pierre and Miquelon, bestowing them their original name of Islands of the 11,000 Virgins. That is quite a bit of virgins, you know?
A lot of islands.
Yeah. A lot of, well, you know, Islands of the 11,000 Virgins. So it could be just 2 islands, because that's plural. And, you know, or it could be 11,000 islands, 1 island per virgin, you know? So
I keep them a virgin.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't specify if they're male or female virgins.
True.
So, you know, maybe these islands are occupied by a bunch of gamers. Who knows? So, if King here is caught up, if he wants to read a couple articles, we're here in 1555 now.
English Parliament refused to recognize Philip of Spain as king.
Ah, so you know how a lot of governments, like, you know, either do or do not recognize places as countries and all that stuff. Kind of the same vein of thinking here. The Parliament of England, you know, did not recognize the nobility of Spain because they didn't like each other. So, oh, well, I don't like you. I don't recognize your sovereignty. You know, that doesn't make it any less real.
True.
So, what else do we got?
Tokugawa Ieyasu defeated the leaders of rival Japan's clans at the Battle of Sekigahara and became the shogun of Japan.
Ah, so he took over the whole thing. What year was that?
1600.
Ah, all right. And we're going to jump from 1600 here to 1727, a 127-year jump. That's pretty big. Russian and Chinese accord to correct boundaries. Okay. So.
Okay, so
They're-
defining their boundaries better.
Yeah. Yeah. And then 1774, we have the first display of the word liberty on a flag raised by colonists in Taunton, Massachusetts, and which was in defiance of British rule in colonial America.
Ah,
Wow,
2
17.
years prior to the official separation.
The Declaration,
Yeah.
yeah. So, and actually, let's see, because like from my other source, it showed the flag here. Here we go, Liberty and Union. So this is the flag that was flown.
Ah.
So it still had the Union Jack,
Yeah.
but it was not the full Union Jack. Very much like how Australia kind of has a Union Jack as well, but it's only in the corner. And then we just have this. Most of it is just red, and then white. So you could say that this is the original red, white, and blue. Because it's Liberty and
Okay,
Union.
Yeah.
And it's red, white, and blue.
True.
And if you look at our flag, we have the same exact square, same exact position, but instead of a Union Jack, it's stars. And then
Yeah.
for the 50 states now,
And we do have red, white, and blue.
yeah, red, white, being the stars and stripes,
Yeah.
and blue being the background for the stars. So. 1789 here, during the French Revolution, the National Assembly declared martial law in France to prevent uprisings. Well, that didn't work out, because that's what a revolution is, an uprising.
Yeah.
So, and to wrap up 1700s here, 1797, the 44-gun United States Navy frigate USS Constitution, also known as Old Ironsides, was launched in Boston.
Ah.
Yeah. So let's see here, USS Constitution, 1797. Let's see if I can find a picture of it. 1797, USS Constitution. Yeah. 44 guns on this Majesty. So, as soon as this picture
Well, now
loads,
that's not Old Ironside, though.
this is Old Ironsides.
It is, okay.
Yeah, USS Constitution, built in 1797. The reason why it's called Old Ironsides is this is, if not the first, it's one of the first examples of actually adding armor plating to a ship. Before that it was just all wood and everything.
Wood, yeah.
So then they added irons on its sides. For more, I'm trying to find an example of it, but I'm not seeing it. But it's armor. So
Okay, yeah, I get that.
yeah. So, let's move on up into the 1800s. What do we got here, Sir King?
1803, English scientist John Dalton read his paper on the absorption of glass by water and other liquids to the Manchester Laboratory and philosophical source. First outline of his atomic theory.
Yeah, so like about how within water, gas, the absorption of gases by water and other liquids. So how water and other liquids, milk, I'm not sure if soda existed back then, but juice, like any water, it absorbs gas. The things settle and then and all that stuff. Ooh, we got some Napoleon stuff here.
1805, the Napoleonic Wars, Battle of Trafalgar, British Admiral Horatio Nelson defeated combined French and Spanish fleet commanded by Admiral Vivian Nelson, shot and killed during battle.
Horatio Nelson, one of the more known names in maritime history.
Sure.
But despite getting shot and killed in this battle, his forces were successful. That's pretty cool. That just outlines how good he was. He doesn't even have to be alive for his plan to work. That guy's a BAMF. You know what a BAMF is, right?
What?
BAMF?
What?
Badass mother.
Okay.
So, 1816 here. This could be your third if you want.
1816, Penang Free School was founded in Georgetown, Penang, Malaysia, by the Reverend Hutchinsons, and the oldest English language school in South Asia.
Yeah, Southeast Asia. Awesome. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
2 centuries ago, 1824, Joseph Aspdin patented Portland cement in Yorkshire, England.
Portland cement.
Portland cement.
Huh.
Yorkshire, England, which that's not where Portland is. Maybe, I'm not sure. Portland cement. It is the most common type of cement in general use around the world as a basic ingredient of concrete, mortar, stucco, and non-specifically grout. It was developed from other types of hydraulic lime in England in the early 19th century by Joseph Aspin and is usually made from limestone. It is a fine powder produced by heating limestone and clay minerals in a kiln to form clinker, and then grinding the clinker with the addition of several percent, often around 5%, of gypsum. Several types of Portland cement are available. The most common, historically called ordinary Portland cement, OPC, is gray, but white Portland cement is also available. The name is derived from its resemblance to Portland stone, which is quarried on the Isle of Portland in Dorset, England. It was named by Joseph Aspden, who obtained a patent for it in 1824. His son, William Aspden, is a weird name, is regarded as the inventor of modern Portland cement due to his developments in the 1840s. So later on, he refined it and everything, but this is when it really started.
Yeah.
So this is a basic compound of any cement. So there's probably Portland cement in this house. There's probably some in the shop, you know? Like,
no doubt.
Yeah. Which, when you really think about it, you know, like, you look at the world around you and all that stuff, we still live in caves. They're just fancier. You know, I mean, like, you know, like, you know, what are houses made out of? Bricks, concrete, and you know, timber. That's wood and stone.
Yeah.
You know, like, what are computers? They're just rocks we tricked into thinking for us. You know, at the end of the day, our world is still just sticks and stones, just a lot more fancier. It's kind of wild to think about, you know.
And they can break your bones.
Well, that too, if they fall on you. But I mean, like, you know, look at high rises. All that glass, that's just refined sand.
Yeah.
You know. It's kind of crazy when you really peel it back to get back out. So
it all goes down to the basics.
Yeah. 1854, Florence Nightingale with a staff of 38 nurses were sent to the Crimean War. We all know about Florence Nightingale, one of the more famous nurses. All that stuff. 1858, Jackie's Offenbach's operetta Orpheus in the Underworld, Orphée aux Enfers, premiered in Paris, included Infernal Gallop. The can-can tune. So that was incredibly risque back then. Like, oh my, oh heavens to Betsy, the women are showing their ankles. 1861. Oh my God, this one. Okay, you want to take it?
Battle of Balls Bluff, Virginia. Leesburg, Harris's Island. That's a Balls Bluff in Virginia.
There's a Balls Bluff in Virginia. Okay, there's a joke in there that I'm not gonna say.
Good.
Like, gonna bluff with your balls and just remain a virgin? I don't know.
No, please use it.
1867.
Medicine Logo Treaty was signed by Southern Great Plains, the Indian leaders requiring the Native Americans, Plains tribes to relocate to a reservation on the Western Indian Territory.
Yeah. Here we go again with more of this Native American stuff, you know? And that's a question, like, what's the difference between, you know, some of the stuff happening in the Middle East and what the white man did to the Native Americans? You know, really think about it. 1 year later, in 1868, a severe earthquake at 7:53 in the morning, centered in Hayward, California, occurred. I'm going to see if there's any estimate, because this was well before the invention of the whatever. What's the measurement device? Well, we have it's estimated was between 6.3 and 6.7 on Mercalli, intensity of 9, which is violence. The Richter scale is what I was thinking of. Richter scale wasn't invented until like the 1900s, somewhere in there. So, but in 1869, the first shipment of fresh oysters came overland from Baltimore. All right, so refrigeration, you know, well, not really refrigeration, but just icebox technology. You know, fill a train car with enough ice, and you could transport something across, you know, a certain amount of area. But it doesn't tell me where the shipment came from. Overland from Baltimore. But, you know, did it come overland from one state to another or across the entire country? Maryland on a half shell. That's pretty cool. Kind of a TMNT thing going on. But I'm not going to get any specifics, it looks like, for what I'm trying to ask. So if anybody knows, or if anybody wants to do the research, let us know where it arrived. We know where it came from, but where did it go? What do we got here in the 1870s? Uh, 1871, we have the first U.S. amateur outdoor athletics game held in New York. Alright, that's pretty cool. 1878, German Chancellor Otto von Bismarck delegated end of socialism. I'm just going to take a surface level scratch on that article here to see... okay, that's just telling me about the German Empire. So, but it sounds like they're trying to get rid of socialism, which is a really good idea. 1879 as well, Thomas Edison applied for a patent for the stolen incandescent light bulb design. Yep, you know, that's what people like him do, you know? Like, Elon Musk is no different. You know, Thomas Alva Edison, Bill Gates, what's his face, Steve Jobs. They didn't invent shit. They just took the credit because they have the money and the power, and they are able to do so. You know, the layman doesn't have the ability, so whatever the everyman, you know, does is quickly taken. So, I mean, even Albert Einstein worked at a patent office and figured out it was all bullshit. So, 1892. Sir King, are you there? All right. We have opening ceremonies for the World's Columbian Exposition were held in Chicago, though because construction was behind schedule, the exposition did not open until May 1st, 1893. All right. So, that's a whoopsie right there. 1895, the Republic of Formosa collapsed as Japanese forces invaded. That would do it. And I'm not sure if this is directly connected or if this just happened at the same time. But the capitulation of Tiananmen was completed the Japanese conquest of Taiwan. So Japan took over Taiwan. 1897, Yerkes Observatory of University in Chicago was dedicated. I'm wondering if it's still around. Yerkes Observatory. Let's take a look at this really quick. Yerkes Observatory. All right. Is there operated University of Chicago? Oh, until 2018, so it's not around, but it was around until recently. So until 6 years ago. So that's a pretty good stint, 1897 to 2018. That's really cool, man. Moving on up into the next century, 1907, the 1907 Karatog earthquake hit the borders of Uzbekistan and Tajikistan, causing between 12,000 to 15,000 deaths. Jeez, man. Earthquakes, you know? Like, you never know when they're going to strike. I mean, at least with tornadoes and hurricanes and all that stuff, you know, floods, tsunamis, you have a warning, you know? But you never know when the earth is just going to decide to open up and take you. Like, that's real scary right there. 1910, HMS Niobe arrived in Halifax Harbor to become the first ship of the Royal Canadian Navy. All right. Go Canada. 1911, Manitoba, Saskatchewan, and Alberta unions formed Western Canada Rugby Football Union. I'm wondering if they're still around. So Western Canada Rugby Football Union. Oh, the West Division, CFL. So it's still around, I believe, as this. So they got a name change at some point, which is very common. 1913, Transvaal woman Satyagraha began defiance activities, hawking without licenses and varying. They crossed the Natal border and encouraged the miners of Newcastle to strike. Yikes! Oh yeah, right here. So it's not a typo, at least from me. So we also have 1915, the first transatlantic radio telephone message, Arlington, Virginia to Paris. All right, and it has to be some kind of government thing because Arlington is where the CIA is headquartered in, I believe. The CIA, right? In Arlington, according to American Dad. While that was going on, William Jennings Bryan's successor as U.S. Secretary of State, Robert Lansing, sent a note to Britain protesting interference with U.S. shipping. well, you know, leave us alone. 1917, first U.S. citizens to see action on front lines of World War I. U.S. troops entered front lines at Somerville under French command. Yeah. 365 days later, Margaret Owen set world typing speed record of 170 words per minute. What is the current world typing speed record? Yeah, Barbara Blackburn, apparently. Let's see here. Speed records, typing fastest category, 170 words per minute. But this is the same thing. So, okay, 1986 she was at 212. So that's pretty big. 170 to 212. That's 42 more words in a minute. That's a lot. That is a lot. Holy crap. 1921, former Hungarian King Karl staged a second attempted coup and was arrested. Alright, that would do it, yeah. You know? 1921 as well, President Warren G. Harding delivered the first speech by a sitting U.S. president against lynching in the Deep South. Yeah, like, let's not kill people. How about that for an idea? What else do we have? 1931, is King back yet? I'm not sure. I don't know. A secret society in the Imperial Japanese Army launched an abortive coup d'etat attempt. What the hell is an abortive coup d'etat? Like, abortive? Never heard of that. Oh. Oh, well, it's just telling me a coup d'etat. Well, let's see. Control F. Abortive. Well, it's not even a word in here. So, if anybody can figure out what an abortive coup d'etat means, that'd be fantastic. 1940, the Royal Air Force dropped the first anti-Nazi pamphlets on the Netherlands. Yeah, you know, a lot of pamphlets were dropped during that conflict and a lot of others. We also have the first edition of the Ernest Hemingway novel For Whom the Bell Tolls was published. Yeah, good bit, you know, good piece right there. 1941, during the Second World War, the Karagujevac massacre against Serbian men and boys took place. Yeah. We also have the Provisional Government of Free India was formally established in Japanese-occupied Singapore. I wonder if it was the people, you know, making it, or if the very concept of India being its own standalone nation was a Japanese invention. That makes you wonder. 1944, also during the Second World War, U.S. troops captured Aachen, the first large German city to fall after 3 weeks of fighting. We also have the Nemmersdorf massacre against German civilians took place. Okay, that does not sound good. Nemmersdorf. Like, you know, why are we doing to them what they're doing to others? What makes us better than... It was a civilian massacre perpetuated by Red Army soldiers. Oh, okay, so it was the Russians. That makes even more sense. Okay. It was one of the first pre-war ethnic German settlements to fall to the advancing Red Army during the war. Soviet soldiers killed many German civilians as well as French and Belgian prisoners of war. So they were just killing everybody. Like, you know, this just, you know, makes what Patton said even more truthful. We were fighting on the wrong side. We should have been fighting against the Russians, not with them. So, and we also have 1944 during the Second World War, the first kamikaze attack damaged HMAS Her Majesty's Australian ship, I guess. The HMAS Australia at the Battle of Leyte Gulf began, or as the Battle of Leyte Gulf began. So, kamikaze struck the ship. 1945. Women in France were allowed to vote for the first time after the 1945 French legislative election. I'm all for that, you know. Women are people too. They deserve to vote. So, 1949, author of Brave New World, Aldous Huxley, wrote to congratulate George Orwell on his novel 1984. Yeah. That's a big novel right there. And Brave New World, you know, it's not really spoken about as much, known about as much, you know, as 1984, but from what I recollect, from what I've read and heard online, it's you know, it's pretty good in its own right. So, 1950, Chinese forces occupied Tibet. I still gotta watch that movie, Kundun. Yeah, it's about the Dalai Lama and all that stuff. And there's one scene where he was speaking to Mao Zedong and all that. And Mao Zedong was going on about how religion is a poison and everything. And then you saw Mao Zedong's shiny ass shoes. And, you know, a lot of people don't get the correlation. But if somebody has shiny shoes, they're not a worker. If you're a worker, you'll have dirty ass shoes because you're too busy working, not taking care of your image. So, for someone like Mao Zedong portraying himself as a man of the people, by having shiny shoes, he is not a man of the people because the people do not have shiny shoes. They work. And also the whole Long March thing, you know? Like, he should have had scuff shoes from, you know, walking all that time. Oh, well. 1950 as well, the death penalty was abolished in Belgium. I don't know about that, man. You know, I'm not a supporter of utilizing taxpayer funds to feed and house people who have thrown their lives away. So, I mean, like, yeah, there's mistakes, you know, especially in murder cases and all that stuff, but if it's irrefutable, you know, and, you know, there's, especially these days, you know, there's video evidence and testimonials, and it's just, it is beyond a shadow of a doubt. No more, you know, putting them in jail for life. No more life sentences. Just get rid of these people. They don't value their lives, so why the hell should we? Simple. 1956, the Mau Mau uprising in Kenya was defeated. We were talking about that yesterday. Not to be confused with Mau Mau, that cartoon or whatever, with the giraffe, a gaff, and all that stuff. But, yeah. 1957, Giants purchase Class A Phoenix team. Alright. 1959, Solomon R. Guggenheim Museum, designed by Frank Lloyd Wright, opened to the public in New York. Okay, let's take a look at this museum. Let's see. Solomon R. Guggenheim Museum. Oh, it looks like a giant toilet. Like, I wonder if it's in Flushing. You know, New York. I don't know. But... Sir King, are you back yet, by any chance? I'm not sure if you're there, if you can hear me, but I cannot hear you. I saw your microphone thing on Discord here lighting up, like how it's green around me while I'm talking. I saw that light up, but I couldn't hear your voice, so I'm not sure if you're there or not, if you're having microphone problems, or what. But anyway, 1959, the Players Association approved 2 All-Star games in 1960 to be held in Kansas City and New York. Alright. 1959 as well, President Dwight D. Eisenhower approved the transfer of all U.S. Army space-related activities to NASA, also known as Never a Straight Answer, including most of the Army Ballistic Missile Agency. Now that makes sense. You know, you want anything involving rocket propulsion and all that stuff, you know, to be handled by, you know, NASA, the space people and all that whatnot. 1960, first British nuclear submarine, the HMS Dreadnought, was launched. Alright. 4 years later, in 1964, Abibi Bikila of Ethiopia ran a world record 2 hours, 12 minutes, and 11.2 seconds to defeat Briton Basil Heatley by more than 4 minutes and win the men's marathon at the Tokyo Olympics, the first athlete to win Olympic marathon twice. Well, of course, you know, Ethiopians, Kenyans, you know, a lot of these Africans, like, you know, they're very good runners. Like, you know, they stem from generations and generations of people, like, running across the plains, hunting, you know, like, running from lions, all that stuff. Like, when you have multiple generations of people doing the same thing, you know, like physical work or anything like that, that becomes ingrained in their DNA. So, 1964 as well, Society Hill Towers, a complex of 3 31-story skyscrapers designed by I.M. Pye and Associates, was inaugurated in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Let's take a look at these Society Hill Towers. Let's see. Okay, so we've seen these before. You know, standard buildings look very boring. This one is a triangle, it looks like, kinda. I'm not sure. Or maybe not. Maybe it's just the angle, maybe the... Yeah, all of these, they look square. So this has to be some weird, like, Photoshop edit or something. So, yeah. Anyway, what else do we got here? Moving on up to 1965, comet Ikea Psyche approached perihelion, passing 450,000 kilometers or 279,617 miles from the sun. And what is a perihelion, you may ask? Well, let's look that up. If I remember correctly, though, it has something to do with the closest approach to the sun. Perihelion is a point in the orbit of a planet, asteroid, or comet that is nearest to the sun. It is the opposite of the aphelion, which is the point farthest from the sun. Okay, so yeah. So this is the closest it got at this time. 1966, 116 children and 28 adults die as a colliery's coal waste heap slid and engulfed houses and a school in Aberfan, South Wales. Jeez, man. And I saw a picture of it somewhere. Oh, here it is. This is just one of the pictures. This doesn't do it justice, really. You just see the back end of it. But if we actually look up the entire article here and look up an image, let's see here. You can see it from the other side. You can see what it actually did. So it came all the way down the mountain. Actually, this is better. You can see this entire mountain. That's a coal dump. That's all coal, and it slid and it took all that out. Here's the unfortunate mass grave that they had to make. But yeah, we're talking about a colliery disaster. Let me reread the article here. We just got rejoined by the Golden Loon. In 1966, 116 children and 28 adults die as a colliery's coal waste heap slid and engulfed houses and a school in Aberfan, South Wales. So, and this is a colored image of it. You can see the devastation. Look at that.
Oh, man. Oh.
Whoa. So.
Oh, that's awful.
Well, don't live downwind of a coal heap, you know? So, but let me bigger this image if I can. Look at the size. That is all. That is waste. That is waste from the coal manufacturing. That is not a natural mountainside. That is just waste, and it just collapsed. And you can see how far it came.
Yeah.
Like.
And this is the only place these people can live because they're working in the gold mines. They give them housing.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Yeah.
60 what?
66.
Eesh.
Yeah. 1967, 50,000 anti-Vietnam War protesters, the National Mobilization Committee to End the War in Vietnam, marched on the Pentagon, besieging the military headquarters for 2 days. And apparently they had marched from the Lincoln Memorial to... So you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. It was a big deal.
Yeah, I was wondering if you would.
Yeah.
Oh. You want to tell us anything about it? Like?
No, I'm just going by news. I wasn't there. I was out here on the West Coast, so... I remember it, that's it.
Yeah.
As you recall it.
Yeah. 1969, a supposed bloodless coup d'etat in Somalia established a Marxist-Lenin administration, now known as National Day. That is terrifying.
Yeah. Not good.
Marxist-Leninist administration. Yeah, like, no. I'm good. Keep it away from me.
Yeah.
We also have Leonard Gersh's Butterflies Are Free, premiered in New York City. Well, you know what? It also is free. So are ducks. Did you know that you can just go to the park and take them? It's not illegal. We have 44 ducks. It's a meme.
Okay.
Like.
Okay.
Actually, let's see here. Hold on a second. Taking ducks is not legal. Meme. Let's see if I can find the actual meme. There's. Here it is. Wait. Oh, here we go. The elites don't want you to know this, but the ducks at the park are free. You can take them home. I have 458 ducks. So this guy's just going out there abducting ducks. Or I guess you could say abducting.
Oh, boo.
Oh.
Boo.
I don't even have to change the word to make that pun. That's really nice. Oh. 1970, 777 Unification Church collapsed, or not collapsed, couples wed in Korea. So a mass wedding of 777.
I remember something about that.
Yeah, well, there's been several mass weddings actually.
Yeah, I don't know if
but
it's this one or not.
Well, see, this is what's weird. How is it an odd number?
Oh, well, true.
Yeah.
Well, no, it's
700. Oh, couple. So
couples.
yeah,
Yeah,
so
it's even. Yeah.
okay. Yeah, so 777 times 2 equals 1,554 people. Okay.
Yeah. And that was in Korea, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's been several mass
Yeah.
marriages in Korea.
Yeah.
And of course
I
other
remember
places.
one, but I can't
Yeah.
remember the guy's name that did the whole thing. But somewhere around that time. Could have been that one, could have been something else.
1973, Fred Dreyer of the then Los Angeles Rams became the first player in NFL history to score 2 safeties in the same game.
Oh.
I don't know what that
Fred
is.
Dreyer.
Dreyer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Played for the Rams.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I wonder if he has any affiliation with Dreyer Ice Cream.
None.
None?
None.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll take your word
A
on it.
safety is tackling the other team in the end zone. You get 2 points. You get
Oh.
it twice in a game. That's really... A safety is unusual in itself.
Well, that kind of
Very
sounds
rare.
like he was camping then.
Well, he was a mean son of a gun. He was a defensive end, I think.
Let's take a look at him. Fred Dreyer. I just want to see what he looks like.
He was actually kind of thin for a football player.
Huh.
Yeah. He also did some acting after that, too.
I was going to say, he kind of looks like an actor. Well, yeah, he has a badge here, so I don't think he was...
He's playing that role.
Yeah.
He was in that series.
Yeah, he does not look like... I mean, his face looks like, kind of angry, but he does not look like somebody who can take somebody out. So, but, images are deceiving.
Yeah, well, he was a tough football player, that's for sure.
1975, Asylum Records released Nighthawks at the Diner, the 3rd studio album by singer-songwriter Tom Waits. This double LP was recorded with a live audience in a simulated nightclub setting. That is unique.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with him.
While that was going on, the Coast Guard Academy finally allowed women to enroll. About time.
Yeah.
So,
way overdue.
Yeah. While that was going on, 1975 as well, Mexico City's first major subway accident took 26 lives. And that makes me wonder. Now, that's their first major subway accident, so not their first subway accident ever.
Well, I don't know what you call it major. Does it have to be a death or something to be major?
Well, that's what I was wondering. What makes it major versus lesser? What's the cutoff? 25?
Yeah.
What makes it the first major? Because, now, if that's the first ever subway incident, then why not say it that? So obviously there's been other incidents,
Not major.
Yeah. So what made it major?
Yeah, well, I'd like to know.
Yeah. 1976, the New York Knicks retired their first number 19, Willis Reed.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, Willis Reed, great center.
I kind of feel bad, not even, I'm gonna attempt, what makes a subway accident major? What makes
Probably
a
death.
subway accident? I would say so. Types, causes, and prevention of New York City subway accidents, but that's just specific for New York. So, I mean, this is going to require some research. So
I don't think there's going to be any one thing that's going to say this makes it major, this makes it minor.
I don't know.
I don't, it's big enough to be in the news, it's major kind of thing.
Yeah. 1977, the European Patent Institute was founded. All right. 1978, Australian civilian pilot Frederick Valinch vanished in a Cessna 182 over the Bay Strait south of Melbourne after reporting contact with an unidentified aircraft. Oh, and that's today's thumbnail. Yeah, it's a long shape coming for me right now, hovering on top of me. That was apparently his quote.
Wow.
And he was just
gone.
And he was gone. Plane vanishes after loud metallic noise. That sounds like he got sucked up.
Doesn't sound good for him.
No, that's scary.
Yeah.
1979, Israeli Prime Minister of Foreign Affairs Moshe Evil Eye Patch Dayan resigned due to strong disagreements with Prime Minister Menachem Begin over policy towards the Arabs. And just take one look at this guy. Does he look like someone you can trust?
Well, that's not fair.
It is completely fair.
Nah.
How about no? Stereotypes exist for a reason, and never trust people with eye patches. Didn't we have a guy with an eye patch in our own government that turned out to be a piece of shit?
Who?
I don't know. The guy with the eye patch.
In our government?
In our government.
I don't know.
Hold on a second.
Like that.
U.S. government eye patch guy. Why can't I spell? There we go. This dude. The eye patch guy from Congress. Dan Crenshaw.
Not familiar
This
with
guy.
him.
I don't.
If he has an eye patch, he's a bad guy?
Well, he did horrible things.
How do you
Apparently.
know?
Well,
I don't know. I know nothing about it.
I don't really either. But like from what I've heard from him, it's just not good.
Well,
like,
don't say he's doing horrible things if you don't know.
well, I'm not hearing. Okay. Let me explain things. I've heard some things about him.
Okay.
Not one thing has been good. All right. So that leads me to believe that he's doing horrible things, and he has an eye patch. And what is eye patches ubiquitous for? Evil.
And I'll have to ask you, where did the information you heard come from? Was it biased or not?
Well, I heard it from both sides. So, Dan Crenshaw, let's see here. I'm just seeing.
Is he Republican, Democrat, Independent?
Well, I'm trying to figure that out. Okay, he's a former SEAL.
Okay, that takes something.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Military service, I don't know. I just don't trust eye patches. So. Anyway, 1979 as well, Ozzie Newsome began an NFL streak of 150 consecutive game receptions. Woo! Yeah. 1980, Phillies won their first world championship in their 98-year history. Wow. That took a while.
No kidding.
98 years. Jeez. Then, 1981, this was reserved for good old King's Refuge here, but I don't know where he went. He just disappeared, and I haven't heard from him.
I'll be back.
Yeah, well, I didn't even get that. 1981, Andreas Papandreou became Minister of Greece, ending an almost 50-year-long system of power dominated by conservative forces. And look at how well their financial situation went.
Oh, yeah.
Gee, it almost as if conservatives know what they're doing, versus the liberals. I don't know. The proof is in the pudding. So. 1982, a private funeral service was held for Bess Truman, former First Lady of the United States.
Oh.
So the wife of Harry S. Truman, I believe.
Yeah, yes.
So, and pardon me, I need to blow my nose, so I'm going to mute my mic really quick. Anyway, 1983. Now this one is wild. This one is absolutely wild. The meter, meter, like the unit of measurement.
Oh, okay, yes.
Okay, versus
yes.
the imperial inch
Yeah.
and all that stuff. The meter was defined as the distance light traveled in a vacuum in 1,299,792,458th of a second. Okay.
You want to run that? I blinked. Hold on, I missed it.
One part,
No, you don't have to.
I know, I want to. 299,792,458th of a second. So, however fast that it takes to travel that distance of, for light in a vacuum, that's the unit of measurement for a meter. Okay. Whatever. I'll stick with my inches, thank you.
Yeah.
1986, U.S. writer Edward Tracy was kidnapped in Beirut, Lebanon, by pro-Iran psychopaths, later released in August of 1991. Oh, yeah. 1987. That's the year everything turned to shit for you, wasn't it?
87?
Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah, now that you mention it.
Yeah.
I'm thinking back, yes, of course.
Yeah. Nobel Prize in Economics was awarded to American Robert Solow for his theory of economic growth. Okay, well, what was his theory? Like, was it good? Was it bad? Like, let me look this up here. A contribution
I think
to
his theory was don't have kids.
well, that is well, that's not even a theory. That's a fact. The Jaffna Hospital massacre was carried out by Indian peacekeeping forces in Sri Lanka, murdering 70 Tamil patients, doctors, and nurses.
Hey.
What the hell, India? What the hell? Like, yikes. You want to talk about xenophobic, genocidal maniacs? Just a bunch of peacekeeping forces going in and just killing a bunch of people in the hospital. Doctors, nurses, patients, doesn't matter. Oh, are you a Tamil? Bam. What the hell?
Man.
1988, Philippines former President Ferdinand Marcos and First Lady Imelda Marcos were indicted on racketeering charges. Yeah.
They're pretty crooked.
Yeah. Yep. Wasn't she also the one who had like all those shoes?
Shoes, yeah.
Yeah. 1989, Bertram, Lee, and Peter Bynot purchased the Denver Nuggets for $65 million, becoming the first black U.S. citizen owners of a major sports team. All right. So the first blacks to own a sports team. I don't know why the color of their skin is so important that a whole article has to be made out of it, but you know.
I'll give kudos where kudos are due.
Why? Because he's black? Who cares?
Hey,
if he's white, black, whatever, a person is a human is a human. It doesn't matter. But you know, because of the color of their skin.
He broke the glass ceiling and got in there because no other black has been an owner.
That's good. I'm not trying to diminish that. What I'm trying to say is why, even to this day, skin color is so important that we have to make entire articles around it. You know, it's ridiculous.
Oh.
It's absolutely ridiculous. You know, humans are humans are humans. Simple. Done. 1989, Buck Helm found alive after being buried for 4 days due to the San Francisco earthquake. Woo. So.
Ooh, that had to be that biggie then.
Yeah.
What year again?
89.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was you were coming to pick me up from preschool or something, right? Yeah. The Oakland earthquake.
Yeah.
That's the one with the double-decker freeway,
collapsed,
like, you know.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think the Giants were playing over there in San Francisco.
Yeah, that's right. There was some game going
World
on.
Series.
Yeah. Wow. Well, that postponed the World Series real quick.
I think it did.
While that was going on in 1989 as well, Houston became the first major college team to gain 1,000 yards in a game. Okay.
Ooh, Houston?
Houston, yeah. College.
Oh. 1,000 yards in a game. Holy cow. What kind of game was that?
I don't know. Sounds one-sided.
One-sided, yeah.
You know what? Let me look it up to see what the score was.
Who was the loser?
Oh, here we go. Cougars. Or, Houston Cougars.
Yeah, Houston Cougars. That's right.
So let's see here. It was 44th year season, yada, yada, yada. Okay.
1,000 yards in a game.
But this is just 1989.
Yeah, well, move on. Doesn't matter.
Trying to find it. What is it? Today is October 21st. Here we go. SMU. 95-21. Ouch.
Almost give up 100 points. Good
Yeah.
Lord.
Jeez. If that's even the right game, I'm not sure.
Sounds like it would be.
1989 in Honduras, 131 people were killed when a Boeing 727 crashed on approach to Toncontín International Airport near the nation's capital of Tegucigalpa. So, well, Boeing is really making a name for themselves. Not in a good way, though.
Yeah.
There
are some problems.
Yeah, well, maybe if they stopped with the DEI crap and hired people based off of merits, but apparently that's a microaggression nowadays. Seriously, so I saw something earlier today. There's some news articles saying that hiring people based off of their qualifications is a microaggression. Okay, stupid. We really need to make asylums great again. That's a MAGA I can follow. So, 1990, the first Apple Day was held in Covent Garden, London. What? Like, Apple Macintosh? Or Apple Day. Okay. It is celebrated mainly in the United Kingdom. It is traditionally falls on October 21st, the date of the first such event in 1990. Okay, so this is the first one. But events are held throughout the month. It is commonly a weekend event, usually taking place on the Saturday and Sunday closest to October 30th. Apple Day events, okay, yada, yada, yada. Okay, so it's about apples, the fruit. Okay. So cool. 1991, 24 people died in a fire in Oakland, California. We were talking about that fire yesterday.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Remember, you didn't realize that there was a fire? Oh, no, that was a 1998 fire, I think. I don't know. There's been so many fires in California, we might as well rename our state to hell. So, 1991 as well. Oh, you're going to get a kick out of this.
I see the picture right out of the back. King Med.
Former California Governor Jerry Kingmed Brown announced his run for the U.S. presidency.
Yeah,
oh my God!
It didn't work.
I wonder why. Maybe because the guy's an absolute idiot. Oh, and why do we call him Kingmed? I know why.
Because of the med fly. Because he didn't take care of it when it was contained and spread over the whole state and threatened all the agricultural crops.
So then, what did he do in response?
he flew over everybody and sprayed us all at nights.
Now,
Perfectly safe, just don't come out of your house.
oh,
And put your car away because it'll eat your paint.
yeah, so make sure your car is covered because the spray is so bad it'll eat the paint, but you're fine.
But you're fine. Don't worry about it. Not to worry. Thanks, King Man.
Yeah, gee. 1991 as well, U.S. hostage Jesse Turner released from 5 years in captivity in Beirut. So, all right. In 1992 as well, Madonna's book Sex went on sale. Gee, I wonder what it's about.
Sex sells.
Yeah, common female. There we go. 1993, failed military coup in Burundi, led by ex-president Jean-Baptiste Bagaza, included assassination of President Ndagide. 525,000 Hutus fled. Well, that's a failed military attempt, military coup. They still killed the guy though. So,
Yeah.
but then how is it a failed coup if the president's dead? Isn't that the whole point of a coup? Like,
No, the point of the coup is to take over.
yeah.
And if they killed the guy but didn't take over, then it's a failed coup.
But
In
then
other
how do
words,
you?
if the army stepped up and fought him back,
But it was the army that did it. Failed military coup, so it's the military.
so the military wasn't successful. Whoever,
But who's stronger than the military?
well, it's not always it's out of the military came the coup. And the rest of the military, I'm guessing here, fought back and fought him off.
Maybe. Or maybe this is a rare case of the people standing up and actually...
Usually you get some generals and some higher ranking army people when they form their own separate army and try a coup. That's the way it usually happens.
Yeah. Anyway, moving on up into 1994, North Korea and the United States signed an agreed framework that required the Norks to stop its nuclear weapons program and agree to inspections. Yeah, that didn't last long.
No.
1997, Mark Anthony released his third studio album, Contra la Corriente, the first salsa album to top Latin album chart, Grammy Best Tropical Latin Performance. All right. Never heard about it, but hey, pretty cool.
Yeah.
2001, we are now in the home stretch. Last
There we
24 years. United We Stand benefit concert for September 11, 2001 terrorist attack victims held at RFK Stadium, Washington, D.C., organized and headlined by Michael Jackson and featured Aerosmith, Mariah Carey, and the Backstreet Boys. Bye, bye, bye. So, yeah, that's a conglomeration I never thought possible. Michael Jackson, Aerosmith, Mariah Carey, and the Backstreet Boys under the same roof. That is mind-blowing.
Yeah.
So, 2003, images of the dwarf planet Eris were taken and subsequently used in its discovery by the team of Michael E. Brown, Chad Trujillo, and David L. Rabinowitz. But my other source said it was 2005. So, what was it, 2003 or 2005? They agreed on the dates, but not the year. You know, that's...
Probably a
so-
typo on one of them.
Oh, it's 2003.
Okay, then it's probably just a typo. On
Wait a minute. Hold on a second. Oh, okay. So it says here, Eris was discovered by the team on January 5th, 2005. So they discovered it on January 5th, 2005, but the image, or they announced it, but the images were taken on October 21st, 2003.
Okay.
So this is when the images were taken, and then they announced it.
discovered it.
They announced it.
2
It
years
was
later.
official. So,
Yeah.
okay. 2007, Tennessee Titans kicker Rob Bironas set NFL record for most points scored in a game with no touchdowns, with 26 in a 38-36 win over the Texans at Reliant Stadium, Houston. Wow.
Ah,
How do you win a game with no touchdowns?
field goals.
Ah, okay.
That's a bunch, though. That's
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah. 2011, during the Iraq War, President Barack Hussein Obama announced that the withdrawal of United States troops from Iraq would be complete by the end of the year. I don't think that happened.
I believe it did.
Huh.
I think we did get out of there.
I don't know.
Not in a good way either.
Well, the only thing that you can count on for Obama is, killing innocent people. So, 2012, Kateri Tekakwitha canonized as the first Native American saint by Pope Benedict the 16th.
Woohoo.
Nice.
That's kind of a big deal.
That's big, yeah. First Native American saint.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this next one, I I made a question at the end of it, and I have since confirmed it, but we'll go over it here in a minute. 23, the Parliament of Canada conferred honorary Canadian citizenship on women's rights and education activist Malala Yousafzai. Now, then I made the question, was she the one who was shot at while boarding a school bus or something? You know?
I have no clue.
Now, yes, she was. Now, we have here 2012, so it looks like, we missed this earlier this month, October 9th, so 2012. Now, keep in mind, she was born in 1997. Okay? So 2012, she would have been 15. So she is 15 years old. Okay? And she's already involved in women's rights and everything. Now, let me read this article. October 9th, 2012, women's rights and education activist Malala Yousafzai, at the age of 15, was shot, not shot at, shot. She got hit 3 times by a Taliban gunman as she tried to board her school bus in Swat district of northwest Pakistan, shooting a 15-year-old for trying to have civil rights.
She's trying to get an education.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that doesn't surprise me. It's the Taliban.
Absolutely disgusting. Well, who invented the Taliban? The United States government to fight a proxy war against the Soviets in Afghanistan back in the 80s. And, that's why bin Laden was a CIA asset. He wasn't an agent, but he was an asset. Yeah. And he worked hand in hand with the CIA until he was no longer useful for us. So history is not what it is on the surface level, people. Go out there and look it up.
Or he thought we were no more useful for him. Goes both ways.
No. Well. Anyway, 2015, German Chancellor Angela Merkel stated a German view of Holocaust would not change after Benjamin Netanyahu said idea came from Mufti of Jerusalem. Oh, okay, so now Israel is blaming Palestine on the Holocaust?
You'd have to reread it for me.
German Chancellor Angela Merkel stated German view of Holocaust would not change. Okay, so their view is, Hitler did it. It was Hitler's idea, yada yada. That's the general consensus. But now it's being discovered that the Holocaust was not Hitler's idea. It was Himmler's idea.
Okay.
Now there's other sources saying that it was Palestine who went to Himmler, but those sources come directly from Israel. So there is a movement to try to blame Palestine on the Holocaust. So, well, this is Benjamin Netanyahu right here, out of his mouth. So, now you can understand my stance on that whole situation a little bit better. 2017, Spanish government suspended Catalonia's autonomy in the face of a deepening political crisis over the region's push for independence. Well, let it be independent. Let Catalonia go. Stop vice gripping them. All you're going to do is create an entire country of terrorists, So, hey, if people want independence, give them independence. If you don't give them independence, then they're going to take independence, and then they're going to be called freedom fighters. Yeah. So, do the right thing. Do the smart thing, do the correct thing. So, 2019, Australia's biggest newspapers all blank out their front pages in protest against press restrictions. Oh. Yeah, I'm all for that.
19, that's before COVID-19. Maybe just the beginning of it.
No, Australia, once a penal colony, always a penal colony. They did the whole gun buyback thing in the 90s and all that stuff. They're an oppressive regime, Australia. 2019 as well, Facebook stated it had taken down 4 state-backed disinformation campaigns, 3 from Iran, 1 from Russia, in addition to dozens earlier this year. That sounds like BS. So, and don't you find it kind of funny that after all this stuff, Mark Zuckerberg has come out and apologized and said, "Oh, what an ass-covering sack of shit,"
figures out which way the wind's blowing real quick.
Yeah. Well, he ain't gonna flow with the wind, tell you that. We do not want him. We also have Lebanon government approved economic reforms after 5 days of protests, the largest in a decade. Well, that would cause it. Do what the people want. The people are the power. They always have been. They always will be. And once people figure that out, then the country has got to do the will of the people. You know? Man, there's a lot of stuff happening in 2019. Thailand's King Vajiralongkorn stripped his royal consort, Senate Wangvajirapakidi, of her titles for misbehavior and disloyalty against the monarch, just 2 months after she was appointed to them. So
that name rolled right off your tongue.
Yeah, like molasses. 2019 as well. World's oldest natural pearl, 8,000 years old, announced discovered during excavations at Mara Island near Abu Dhabi, UAE.
Ooh, Abu Dhabi.
Yeah. Let's see if I can find. So this is apparently the world's oldest pearl right here. All right, 8,000-year-old pearl. Cool.
Wow.
A former friend of mine had a joke involving Abu Dhabi, but I don't remember how it goes. Anyway, 2020, FBI stated Iran and Russia had U.S. voter information and were trying to influence the outcome of the U.S. election. Bullshit. Propaganda. 2020, NASA OSIRIS-REx spacecraft. Hold on a second. Never a straight answer. The spacecraft landed briefly on asteroid Bennu on a mission to collect dust, the largest sample from space since Apollo. So since the Apollo missions to the moon. So collected dust from a rock hurtling through space. Yeah. 2020 as well, parents of 545 children could not be found whom were separated at the U.S.-Mexico border, according to American Civil Liberties Union. Well, you can thank Barack Hussein Obama for those children in cages. Remember they were trying to blame Trump for all that?
Yeah.
Well, it's a little weird how they were using footage from before Trump was even in office to blame Trump. And I was, well, your boy Obama did it.
Well, I think it was established he was still there when Trump was in it.
Yeah, and then he ended it. Yeah. We also have Pope Francis backed same-sex civil unions in interview and documentary film Francesco. Okay. 2020 as well, Spain became the first European country to record more than 1 million Kung Flu cases when the death toll reached 34,366. Well, when you mark literally everything as, one thing, even if it's not that thing, then you can do whatever with it that you want. Lie. Propaganda, lie. So, hey, welcome. How you doing, Ashley?
How's it going, Alexander?
I asked you first.
Oh, yeah, you did. It's going, man. I'm alive. I can't. It could be worse. It could be better, but it is what it is.
Yeah, well, as Loon always says, what do you say?
I don't know. What
about how you're doing?
I'm upright.
Yeah, exactly. I'm alive. I'm upright. I'm out of bed. It's a good day.
There you go.
So, which, by the way, just to let you know, once again, we are live streaming right now. You are welcome to stay here. I'm not trying to dissuade you or anything. I'm just letting
I
you know.
noticed you was. I just came in to talk to you guys and see how you was doing, and I might mute myself a little bit and chime in.
Yeah, we're almost done anyway. Actually, we only have 2 more articles left.
Let's get them.
Oh, nice. What are the articles?
2021, actor Alec Baldwin shot cinematographer Halcyona Hutchins dead and injured Joel Souza with a gun in rehearsal on a film set at Bonanza Ranch, New Mexico. Yeah, no, it wasn't a rehearsal. And see, on the main art source here, it says prop gun. No, they used a real gun, as they usually do. There is no such thing as a prop gun. They use a real gun, but they put in prop ammo. Yeah, now, Alec Baldwin was, like there's so many factors in this that are bad. The armorer did not do their job well at all, and they were not rehearsing. They were not, filming. They were not doing anything. He was just too busy partying. Alec Baldwin just grabbed the gun and playfully, shot it at somebody, and it was loaded. And there was this whole conspiracy, and all that stuff. Alec Baldwin is a murderer, plain and simple. He's a murderer, but nothing is ever going to come of this because he's a wealthy elitist, in power with a lot of connections.
I don't think it's gone to trial yet, if I'm not mistaken.
I think they acquitted him.
Oh.
So, I'm not sure. Anyway, last but not least, 2021 Syria's government stated it had executed 24 people for starting devastated wildfires that in 2020 that killed 3. That's what I've been saying. You know, if you go out there and you start a wildfire, you know you've devalued your life. Why the hell should the taxpayers, you know, fund keeping you fed and housed? No.
This was in Syria?
Yes. So I 100% back Syria's decision with this. You're gone. You know? There's 8 billion people in the world. If we cut that in half, we'll still be overpopulated. If we start getting rid of the idiots who throw their lives away, things will be a lot better. Simple. So, once again, now conclude the show. Please check the underbar of the description below for any links that you may be interested in. So much history has and continues to be made on a daily basis, and we can only bring you a portion. Please check our sources for more. For your dose of past events daily, we stream, every day, or at least try to. The schedule right now is we're aiming at 10 or 11, so things are going to be wishy-washy for a little bit. We will not be having a show tomorrow, but hopefully we will for the next time. But anyway, we do have other shows we're trying to get going, you know, with history and the news, movie reactions and reviews, gaming, video and memes, Omni Kitchen, and everything else between on Talk Show. Check the underbar. For all of you and all of us, I am A.O. Xander.
Golden Loon.
We have Lost Rat King in here as well, and King's Refuge, and last but not least, you the viewer. Thank you very much for showing up, and until you catch us next time, whenever that is, wherever that is, don't forget to look right and left at every intersection, rate 5 thumbs, and subscribe. Toodles! Let me, there it is. Okay, and that's, hold on a second, my other monitor froze, so give me one moment while I